Hi year 8s, in this video I'm going to go through our 5 livability factors in a little bit more detail and explain what each of them means so you don't get confused in this week's learning package. So I'm going to start with factor number 1, which is services. It says services in a city refer to any organisations or businesses that provide essential services to its citizens. And some examples of services we have are hospitals and schools, public transport and garbage collection, and mechanics and hairdressers. Now you can think of services as any place you go to and they provide or give you something that is intangible that you can't touch. So for example, you go to a school and you are provided with an education. Okay, that's not really something that you can touch or hold. It's not a good that you can buy. You go to a hairdresser and you pay them to cut your hair. It's not a product, it's a service that they're providing you, okay? So service is a really broad category. Public transport is a service because you don't pay to get the tram, you pay to go on the tram. So it's a service they provide you. Some examples I've got pictures of here are a plumber, okay? So plumbing or any sort of electrician work, a hospital or a doctor, public transport, hairdressing, and garbage collection. Okay, so just some examples of services there. Our next factor is facilities. Now, facilities in a city refer to any places that improve the overall livability of an area and can be used by citizens. Now, these facilities can be paid for or they can be free. So some examples of facilities we have are parks and walking trails, sporting grounds and shopping centres, and town halls and libraries. So you can think of them as public spaces that are built by the government or built by companies for everyone to go and enjoy and use with purpose, okay? So some examples I've got pictures of here are, we've got some sporting grounds, so any soccer ovals, footy ovals, dog parks, anything like that. We've got parks and walking trails here. This is the Mary Creek Trail. Public swimming pools, also really good example. Town squares, so Federation Square, for example, is a really good facility. A shopping centre, and we've got a town hall here, but also libraries, parliament, anything like that. Our next factor is sustainability, and this one's a little bit trickier and sort of can overlap with other factors. So sustainability refers to how environmentally conscious a city is. It also refers to a city that has planned for future growth as the population grows. So you need to think of sustainability as good for the environment and planning for the future. So a sustainable city would include such things as recycling centres to help with the environment, community gardens and organisations to cut food waste, and some space left across the city so that it can expand in the future. So you haven't built your city and it's all packed in and there's no opportunity for growth when more people move in. You've thought about how you're going to make sure that you can last and build new space as your city grows. So some pictures I've got for you here is on the bottom left, we've got a community garden. Bottom right, we have a recycling centre, and same with the top right. And then this picture on the top left next to my little face is an example of how you can plan a city with leftover space to potentially grow into in the future, okay? So thinking of sustainability as good for the environment, planning for the future. Our next factor is environment. Okay, now we're not talking about being good for the environment when we're talking about this factor. We're talking about the different types of environment that exist in your city, both built and natural environments. So a livable city would have a really good mix of both built and natural environments. Now that would include such things as a CBD or a central business district. If it's not a city or a town, it might be the main shopping centre or the main shopping strip. It will include shops and houses. It will include natural areas such as parks and reserves. And again, community gardens and protected spaces are also good examples of different types of environment. The pictures I've got here show a really good balance. So in this bottom left picture with all these houses, you can see that it is a very built environment. However, there is some greenery there, so a nice balance. Bottom right corner is obviously the Melbourne CBD, a very built environment, but you can see that they've tried to keep some trees there. Top right is a really good picture of how you can have a natural environment right next to a built environment and have a really good balance. And then the top left is actually Yarra Bend, with Melbourne in the background. So a really good example of cutting off and protecting an area so that we can protect the green environment, have a really good balance. All right, so our last factor is cultural inclusion. So Liveability City will value the cultural inclusion of all its citizens and promote cultural diversity. In order for a city to be culturally inclusive, it might include things like this. So religious buildings of different faiths. So you might have synagogues, mosques, churches, opportunities for everyone to go and practice their faith. Multicultural hubs are quite popular that support people from different ethnic backgrounds and sort of build community. And community organisations and or societies that are designed to support cultural minorities. So a really good example of this you'll remember from International Women's Day was we had SisterWorks come and talk to us about the work that they do with recent migrants. So pictures, I've got pictures of the SisterWork logo. I've got a picture of the Monash University Islamic Society as an example of a society or a social group that help promote cultural diversity. I've got a picture of a temple, I've got a picture of a mosque, I've got a picture of a synagogue, and I've got a picture of Melbourne's multicultural hub with an event occurring out the front of it. So these are all things that will need to be included for a city in order to make it livable. Hopefully this made sense. I encourage you to come back and check this video if you get a little bit confused during the activities today. Good luck.